Hi guys, welcome to Heroes Manufactured Movie Minutes. Actually, today I'm going to be taking over for Philip Moran. He's actually away for this week, so I filled in for Philip, so that'll be fun. I do have today our special guest from Comics Vault and from a bunch of our other shows, Miss Jowy P. So I'm going to bring her in just a minute. But today I do have some quick announcements I just want to make here for everyone. We do have some new marketing opportunities that we're going to be putting out there as we actually open up the Heroes Vault website, and as we progress with what we're doing right now with the TV shows and with more shows that are coming with new hosts as well. So here's a little bit of an outline here. This is our marketing opportunity for Heroes Manufactured, both live, also Heroes Manufactured, the Comics Vault, Movie Minutes, and every other show that we have. We do have a cosplay show that's coming out soon with guest Holly Wolf, which I've mentioned earlier this week. So definitely check that out. It's going to be starting up very soon. So definitely get into that. Now, here's a quick breakdown of how it's going to work. This is just a brief on what we're going to be doing, but we're offering anyone who is an artist, a creator, if you're on Etsy, whatever it is that you're putting out there, if you want to sell your designs, your comic books, your toys, your cosplay designs, anything that you want to sell, we're going to be able to sell that and offer that now through the Heroes Vault website. You will be able to create an actual listing on that site. I showed a little bit of a preview a few weeks back, so if you want to take a look at our previous episodes that spoke a little bit about that, you can check that out, or check out the website on our Google, on our Facebook page. But for $99 right now, what we're offering is a one-time listing for a full year. You're also going to be promoted through the website, but also through live sales, through an actual video. But we also are going to be doing some blasts on our Facebook, on our social media. There's a bigger package if you're looking to do more items, so about 5 items for about $3.99. There's a full video that we include with that, just focusing on your item, and then we're also doing some ads, which we'll get more into detail about on the Heroes Manufactured website, the live shows, and everything that we're doing with Comics Vault and social media, YouTube, all that jazz. So we'll get more into that, into details, but definitely check out our website and definitely check out our Facebook page to get more details on that. So we're going to get right into it, guys. Enough with the advertising opportunities and all that. If you do want more information, definitely get in touch with me, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys out with that. But we're going to get right into it here with Joey. So, hey,
Okay.
Joey, how's it going?
How's it going? What a weekend it's been.
Oh, great weekend. Yeah, it's been a busy week. It's been a busy weekend. Listen, it's still summer. We still feel it. It's awesome. And I mean, at least we get the sun during this pandemic, right? Like, we at least enjoy some of that. So how's it going with you?
It's going good. I don't know when this is going to air, but I know that this is the weekend for DC Fandom.
Yeah, big
Jeez.
week.
Oh my God, is it ever the biggest week? I know we don't get like any of the cons right now. Like, we don't get to go to Fan Expo. We don't get to go to Comic Cons. There's no San Diego. There's no New York. But my God, the news. So,
Oh yeah, the news. I mean, you mentioned I know to me earlier today that there's a bunch of great trailers that came out. That if you want to,
mhm.
I mean, I know the Batman, that was just like that
Oh my
was amazing.
Well, when that news came out with Robert Pattinson becoming Batman, everyone was like, "Really,
Oh,
really,
now
Robert Pattinson?"
eh,
And now, my feed of like even like my comic book artist friends and writers are all like, "Oh my God, this is gonna be so sweet!" And
oh, it's going to be amazing. Like, you know what? We did a show on Movie Minutes here with Philip. Just it was actually our first episode of Movie Minutes where we spoke about that. So that's going to be pretty awesome. But
yeah,
well, you know that and all the other great news. We'll definitely get into that probably in our next episodes. But
yeah,
today we're going to be talking about Titans, the show, and
yeah.
kind of everything Titans related, which is amazing. So if you guys have watched it, season 1, season 2 are out already on Netflix, on a bunch of other platforms. I believe the CW as well in the US. So I mean, it's a great show. I was actually at the premiere of the
Oh
show
yeah.
back in New York Comic Con 2018. So I got to see the first like 3-4 episodes right there with the actors, with everyone. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. And it's a great show. I've only watched the first season though, with a
Oh
bit of the
really?
second season. So I haven't seen everything yet in the second season. So You can spoil it by all
I know.
means,
I
but
was gonna say, I'm gonna spoil so much for
it's
you.
all good. It's all good.
Kill
I'm
me.
okay, and I kind of already know where it's going, so I'm completely okay with that. But we'll get like right into it. I mean, if you can tell us, because you're kind of the Titans expert here.
All right.
I may bring in some info into this,
Mhm.
but tell us a little bit about the history with regards to Titans and the comics and like the TV shows, just so we can get a brief for everyone here.
Yeah, so what I really like about this whole thing is that Titans, originally is a comic book thing. It's
Yeah.
not something that the CW made or anything like that. As you can see, it started off with the new Teen Titans, and during this time, the heroes that we know of, like Superman, Batman, basically the Trinity, their comic book sales were starting to go down, and this was around like the baby boomer kind of age,
Oh
and
yeah.
essentially the new Teen Titans came out because they needed to pretty much empower the younger generation. And as you can tell there, it was the boy wonder that was kind of like center stage. And
Oh, for
he was,
sure.
yeah, he was, if not the first sidekick and the first kind of like young hero. This was kind of like his stray away from Batman and his way of kind of becoming a leader.
And it's
So,
it's funny because a lot of the comics also people don't realize, but
mhm.
I mean, before the new Teen Titans, there was just Teen Titans. That was in like the '60s and '70s. I mean, that was a pretty big run back then. I mean, I even had like the first Teen Titans book originally, like
Oh
the
yeah.
'60s book, and I mean, it's a great series for people that loved. I mean, you had all kind of a lot of the original characters. The Aqua Lads,
Mhm.
you had Robin there. Wonder Girl. Yeah, all these great characters are just amazing. So I mean,
Yeah.
it was amazing that they were able to do that already in the '80s and kind of bring it to a new light, right? So
Yeah, and like characters like Raven and stuff, like she didn't exist beforehand. Like she was specifically for the Teen Titans, So I think the overexhaustion of the Trinity and the very classic heroes, the sales were going down. So they needed to find a way to get the demographic of the newer generation reading to start reading again. And to be honest, it's a great conversation to have now because I think that's what we need to do too in the comic book world.
for sure, for
Right?
sure, no doubt.
So anyway, what happened with that was the Teen Titans just grew and grew and grew. And I think you read some Teen Titans as well. Like even
Yeah,
the newest DC line was essentially Rebirth, right?
yeah.
And there was a great run with that with Damian Wayne. And before that, there was a whole bunch of other things that happened that got Teen Titans to be who they are. So
Oh,
I
of
think I
course.
got an yeah, I got an image that I sent you out for the cartoons, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the cartoons. I mean, I got them right here. I mean, we like I watch them
Yeah.
religiously with my kids, especially Teen Titans Go. I
Uh-huh.
mean, it's absolutely funny as hell. It's amazing. It kind of feels like Ren and Stimpy at times, yet it feels like Beavis and Butthead also and everything else. I mean,
It's toilet humor, man. Like Teen
oh, it's
Titans
amazing.
Go. There was a huge difference with this one as well because in 2003, so 2003, I was like graduating high school already, and I was into it, but I wasn't as into it as I would have been if Young Justice had come out at that time.
Yeah.
So in 2003, when Teen Titans Go came through the Cartoon Network, tons of people, even adults, were watching it. You had
It was a
demographics
great
from
show. Oh, it was amazing. And they've made movies, like little animated movies, and
hmm
I even love the fact that like the Teen Titans Go characters get to meet the Teen Titans characters from 2003. I've
Oh,
seen all that. I mean, it's amazing the fact that they were able to do that and kind of make fun of themselves, poke fun at themselves. I mean, that's just that's just good writing,
yeah.
and it makes sense within that universe. You know what I mean? Like, I
Absolutely.
definitely. So tell us just a little bit about the TV show, about the backgrounds of the Titans production, if you don't mind, because that's the new thing, right? Like that's the
Mhm.
the latest thing that we're all kind of talking about. And this is an image here of the first initial poster, and this is
Mm.
the premiere that I went out to. Was actually they were hyping this up all over New York City on subway lines, everything. It was like the week of October 2018. It
Yeah.
was huge. So yeah,
Yeah.
tell us a bit about this.
So as you can tell, I mean, if you compare even the season one poster, to the posters of the Cartoon Network, Teen Titans. There's a lot of recognizable characters there. But what I want to talk about, as you said, was the production team. And the executive producers that did this are such key people in the
Yeah.
world of DC TV shows. And that would be like Greg Berlanti, Jeff Johns, and Akiva Goldman.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah, I'm going to talk about like Greg Berlanti and Jeff Johns. And I mean, you know those names because they're so important in the DC TV shows in the CW network. So Greg Berlanti, he's a big executive producer, and he's done everything from when Arrow came out, literally Arrow season 1, it was kind of like they were trying to find their footing, but because of the great casting and because of the great writing, it just trickled all over. So he did Arrow, he did The Flash, he did Supergirl, and then he did DC's Legends, Batwoman, and Black Lightning. And he collaborated with Jeff Johns, who's one of our, like amazing writers in DC. And he's done some of my favorite stuff as well, like Blackest Night and Flashpoint.
Oh
He
yeah,
did
great
Earth
books.
One.
Great books. Great series in total.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
He did
it's
a lot of the Flash stuff and Justice League stuff, and he even did a JSA book. So this guy,
yeah,
this guy knows what he's doing. Like Greg Berlanti's collaboration with Jeff Johns was the thing that we've always needed in DC TV to get new viewers, and they're doing stuff even like Stargirl now as well, and the
yeah.
new Superman and Lois TV show.
Not the Disney Plus Stargirl, by the way, guys. 'Cause
No, no, no.
there's that
That's cool.
confusion right now that there's two Stargirl shows out. It's so weird, but
It's
anyway,
funny? They came out the same week, so I'm like, that was a bad
uh,
idea.
that was intentional. I think. I don't know. It
Yeah.
was a little odd. They're just trying. I think one company we shall not name that starts with a D.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
they're not DC.
Uh-huh. I get you. I get
Yeah,
you.
I believe that they were just trying to piggyback off the other,
Yeah.
the DC universe. I mean, it just didn't add up.
No.
Stargirl's been a character for quite some time, but another great part of the DC universe that we all love.
And
And
yeah.
so, if you don't mind telling us a little bit, like setting us up with all the heroes and villains from like the first season, the second season, just to give us a little
Mhm.
bit of insight. I know one I'll just kind of start with you is Robin. We all love him, but he's
Mhm.
also Nightwing, right, in the new season. So
Yeah.
if you don't
Yeah,
mind
there's
sharing
our
a little bit
guy.
about, yeah,
Honestly, I thought casting was really great for every single person that was in the Titans TV show. This is Brenton Thwaites, and he played Dick Grayson. Sorry, still playing Dick Grayson.
yeah,
Obviously, the Boy Wonder. He was Robin. Technically, season 1, he was pretty much still Robin number 1, even though Jason obviously comes through as well. Season
yeah.
2, he does become Nightwing at the very end, but he went through a lot. Like
A
this guy
lot of
went
training.
through.
I
So
what I loved in season one with him was that like where literally in the first episode you see him just kick butt with all the with all the henchmen in the beginning, and he
mhm.
says he says F Batman, like we're not gonna swear here, guys. It is on YouTube, and
It's great.
but the fact that he's able to say that, I mean, that's and I remember watching this in a theater, like this was amazing. Like we were blown, we were like, wow, like this guy's actually, kicking butt. So I mean, he's going out there and
Yeah.
he really doesn't care. He's just as and it to me when I watched it, I was like, I think a lot of people, some people that didn't like it because they're like he was, it was a little too raunchy with the fighting and all that. But I was like, I experienced it in a theater where to me I was like, this guy looks like he's actually stronger than Batman in some ways, and I kind of like that. Like it was,
He's an acrobatic guy. Like that's how he started off with. So like again, like watch it for yourselves, and if you like it, you like it. You don't like it, you don't like it. But you can't please everybody.
of course.
But if it's a superhero thing, please everybody who's watching expect there to be some sort of cheesiness. I mean, these guys are in tights, man. Like, like how much can you really expect? But he went through a lot, and
Oh, for
when I
sure.
say he went through a lot, it's because he was the first protege in the superhero world, and
Yeah.
this is very true to the comics as well because this is his first time becoming a leader and becoming a solo act on his own.
Yeah, he was the sidekick, like you said. I mean, this guy's been the sidekick for a while. I mean,
Hmm.
it's nice to see him grow up, right? It's like you want to
Yeah.
see, the people you've kind of watched throughout your childhood grow up just like you. I mean, that's what, and
Yeah.
I mean, you see that a lot now in comics. And you see that with Old Man Logan. You see that with you see people like really like whether it's Marvel, DC. You see that, right?
Yeah.
And so here's some other characters we all know and love, but tell us a little bit about them as well.
First of all, they look great.
Oh,
Okay,
they
I
do.
know that there was a lot of people that had an issue with, Starfire and how like Beast Boy was like not really green all the time, and I'm like, guys, like it's a live action thing. Give it a chance. Here's what it is.
Oh,
But
I find that the girl who's playing Starfire is amazing. I thought she was
I
the
thought she's great.
best pick.
She gets better in season 2, dude. Like
Oh
that's
yeah, no,
I love
I
it.
seen already. I already saw a bit of that in season
Mhm.
two already, right from the beginning. And like I said, I watched I think like the first probably 4 or 5 episodes. I'm halfway
Okay.
into season two, but I mean, you really like even in the first season, I love the fact that they made her like this disco queen, which like to
Yeah,
me was it makes sense because I mean,
that's her
you know.
outfit too.
The thing is that's the thing like she came out in the 70s, right? Like it was
Mhm.
that's when her appearance really broke loose, and everyone just like loved her and loved everything about her. But she was like a good looking, like a hot, kind of
Mhm.
like disco queen character back then. So
She was a hot alien then, and she's a hot alien now.
there you go.
Yeah.
And so there's that went really well for me. Even Raven here, I mean, she the girl that played her was just phenomenal. Like
She's perfect for it, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
she
So
really
yeah,
dark.
just to kind of like reiterate with like even with Starfire, I just wanted to mention all of their names as well because if you're following these people, check out their IMDb. They're very, very, very impressionable people. So Starfire is actually played by Anna Diop.
Yeah,
Raven is played by Tegan Croft, and Beast Boy is played by Ryan Potter. These guys are going to do
nice.
amazing work after Titans because their performances were really great with it as well.
Yeah.
Starfire, yeah, Starfire had a pretty big storyline in both season 1 and 2. Because you know how you can kind of tell with TV shows that there's a story A and then a story B and a story C. I
Yeah.
think they did a really good job kind of like amalgamating all of it and having everybody kind of have a almost even storyline for everything. But
Yeah.
Starfire's journey in season 1 was basically her amnesia stuff. You know, like not exactly remembering like how she even got to Earth. Season 2, she really, really did develop as well, and we get to see her sister at the very end of it.
Oh, very nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We
So she
actually we actually ended up interviewing Anna Diop when we were
really,
when we were at the premiere. We brought our cameras and everything. I mean, it was one of the nicest premieres we were at. We got to meet Frank Miller there.
nice.
Jim Lee was there, and they sat right next to. We all got like these Chrome Titans books, like comics, free.
Uh-huh.
But they were limited to like the people that were there. And
Yeah.
I have one with Robin right on the cover. It's an amazing book, and I mean, I was planning to get that signed at San Diego Comic-Con, but
Uh-huh.
because so this is the crazy thing, because they didn't allow us to do that. There was an issue where they didn't come out to San Diego last year,
Mhm.
so they mailed me a poster with everyone's signature on it, which was
Oh,
amazing.
wow.
So I
And
have
you have
that
that up on
sitting.
your wall?
Yeah, well, no, I just have it sitting rolled up somewhere in my basement. So I mean, it's a great little poster. It's got every single cast member. It's actually this poster here. So I'm sorry, Joe. I'm gonna steal your
No, do
thunder
your
here for a
thing.
sec.
Do your thing.
But
But
this exact poster right here.
oh yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So I mean, I have this signed by all of them.
That's
Great
cool.
little thing, and they did that because they couldn't come out to the event. There was an issue. Some of the cast members, I think, decided not to show up. There was some kind of
The conflict.
controversy with no, there was like an actual controversy with people not wanting to attend San Diego Comic Con last year, and I think someone there was some. It may have been a hashtag Me Too thing. I'm not sure, but it was a few.
Mm.
It was a while back, and because of that, they apologized and they got it. They at least did that, which was nice.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and I
That's
mean,
unfortunate.
some other characters that they feature in the show. I mean, Hawk and Dove, right? Like that's
Oh God, yeah.
yeah, I mean, great performances. If you don't mind sharing a little bit about them, their characters, kind of what they're all about.
Yeah, so Hawk and Dove, they were supposed to basically have a little bit of an origin story in season 1. Essentially, Hawk and Dove was actually part of the Titans 1.0 group. So there you're going to see flashbacks of them and what they did and how they got to know Robin and how they got to know Wonder Girl. And there was also another origin story with them where they explained that the original team of Hawk and Dove was actually the brother team, which is essentially Hank and I think his brother was Don. And
Yeah.
then, which is funny because obviously the girlfriend, the new Dove, is Dawn, Dawn.
Yeah.
So you get to know their journey, and you get to see how they fall apart as well. They've been kind of like partners in crime. Season one, that doesn't always continue on in season two. Titans actually, they this is Dark Titans. This is not your fart jokes kind of Teen Titans Go Titans anymore. We've dealt with so many things with Hawk and Dove, with Hawk and his drug addiction issue.
Oh yeah. And
Like
they
that was
really
a
dig
big
into
part.
that in the show. Like that's the one thing I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
Is they tapped into more of a personal life. It feels very different from the comic book world,
absolutely.
but yet still it does share something with the comics and the cartoons even to a degree, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it does. And so, by the way, Hawk and Dove wasn't really part of like Teen Titans Go or like Teen
Yeah.
Titans, but I thought that they were a great addition because then you get to see a little bit more of like what would happen if the case was that we had these people in the team as well. It was kind of like a what if in DC kind of thing.
Oh, for sure.
So it was great. You get to also see how he rises up from that and his realizations of why that was probably a terrible time for Dawn as well. You also get to know a little bit of the history between Dawn and Nightwing. So Robin, Dick Grayson as well. You get to know how they were like when they were in the first team with Wonder Girl and Aqualad as well.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
another great character here, Jason Todd as
Mhm.
Robin as well, right?
Yeah.
The other Robin, the two Robins are in this, which is great.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love even the performance with him. It was nice because he still felt like Robin, but a different version of Robin, and
Yeah.
definitely he had more of an ego. That was just he was more stubborn, more of a rebel in many ways in the
Mhm.
show. I feel
And
like they portrayed that pretty well overall.
yeah, this is Curran Walters. I actually looked him up online as well, and he's a newcomer, but he did such a great job with Titans. I don't know if you remember, he had this storyline where he had a near-death experience, and it kind of there was a realization between his relationship with Dick. And I thought that was like such an important thing in terms of Dick's
I
leadership.
just have to say that sounds really funny how you said that.
Why
we
do you
we
have
won't
to
go
view
past
him
that.
this way?
His
Um,
relationship with Dick was amazing.
I
But
know. Yeah. Um,
but I mean, it's yeah, Dick Grayson, right? We're talking about Dick Grayson here, so I mean, it's all right. We're not saying
yeah. He's
uh,
he had a really great relationship kind of progression from season 1 to season 2 with him,
yeah,
because this is where Dick Grayson learns how to become kind of the big brother of the Robins.
and he really
And
did. Yeah.
sorry?
I'm saying he really did. Yeah, like
Yeah.
well done.
And then season 2, it's kind of like you kind of figure out how much he would actually give to the team and how
Yeah,
much he realizes that sometimes apologies is clearly not enough when you're leading this much people, this much different characters of people.
for sure. And this is a
Yeah.
quick pick here of the season 2 cast. I just want to show people as well.
Mhm.
There's more characters here. I mean, you got Wonder Girl there. You got Dover as well. But
Yeah.
so who are some of those other characters? I see Hawk behind her, but who's that other gentleman there on the left?
So the two on the left is actually Donna Troy,
Yeah,
and she plays Wonder Girl. And I'm actually really happy that they did this costume as well because there were, I think, from what I know, 3 or 4 different Donna Troy costumes. But my most favorite one was this one, which is the classic one from back in the day. And she is Wonder Girl. And honestly, with Wonder Girl, she has so many different origin stories in the comic books. Like she was an orphan, and then she was like a young, supposedly Wonder Woman. There's like a lot of different things. We don't really get to know too much of her origin yet. Hopefully, we do. And the other one is Aqualad. That is just in between Wonder Girl and
Right.
Robin,
Yeah.
and they show so basically Wonder Girl and Aqualad, they have a little bit of a love interest, a little bit of a like sexual tension
Like
in the show as well.
innuendo kind of, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there's also, I mean, there's those characters, and then they also brought, which I love the fact that they did this in season two. I didn't see it yet, but I know just from the poster that I have.
Mhm. Yeah.
Superboy. I
You
mean,
know what? I was actually saying like how much he actually looks like the Young Justice Superboy,
yeah, and I mean,
right?
he even looks like Clark Kent. You know what I mean? And he can post, like he could pass for that as well. I mean, it's an amazing. Like, I know it's not, but he looks like he's from Planet Krypton. He's got
He
that
does.
that
Chisel look.
family a connection there to him. So I mean, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, so he's played by Joshua Orpin, and just to also mention, Wonder Girl was played by Connor Leslie, Aqualad by Drew Van Acker.
Nice.
So Joshua Orpin, again, he's another newcomer as well. I actually just told a friend of mine that I'm like, you know, the guy that plays Superboy, doesn't he look like the perfect kid if Erica Durance from Smallville and Tom Welling from Smallville had a kid? It would actually look like that. Or
Yeah.
sorry, he would actually look like that. But he had a very I was so excited for all of his scenes because I really like Young Justice, the cartoon as well.
Yeah.
And they showed Cadmus, and they showed how he was in the tank, and they kind of showed the relationship with him and Beast Boy. Beast Boy went through so much in season two as well. So
Oh yeah.
Beast Boy, actually, this show is connected with another DC show called Doom Patrol.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Beast Boy actually comes from that team originally, even in the comics.
Yeah.
And season two, the most encounter that Connor had was with Beast Boy, and this was the time where like Beast Boy was completely alone. Nobody was there to rescue him. Dick Grayson was actually in jail at that time, couldn't even figure out where he was. Whole team was trying to figure out where he was.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had a great interaction, these
Well,
two.
the one thing is they even featured Doom Patrol in the first season, right? They
They
really,
did.
like, I remember that when we were watching it in the premiere, like we saw Doom Patrol and then we saw Titans. And we're like, oh wow, they're really opening this up right from the beginning. It's like
Yeah.
they really let you get right into it. So I mean, if we ruined it for you guys, tough luck.
I know. Hey, you
But
know what? There's another show that this is, well, a few other shows that it's connected with, and this is connected technically to the Arrowverse.
oh no,
Uh,
for sure. I
yeah.
know that definitely there's definitely a lot of that multiverse thing going on, even with Titans. I mean, it's there's you can feel it. One thing that I realized with Doom Patrol, I mean, it's a very different show.
Mhm.
To me, I mean, I felt like it was definitely more experimental with how they did the show.
Yeah.
And it almost felt a little like the Legion show that they were doing on FX recently. Where
Mhm.
it plays up with the story. It's not as linear of a story. So I mean, just going off track here about Doom Patrol, but I mean, whereas Titans also has a little bit about that, but it still has that linear feel if you like that feeling for a show. So I mean,
Yeah.
definitely a great thing going there. One other thing here, I just want to kind of break into what like these characters here. I mean, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about them, because I know them all here, but I'd love for you to share a little bit about the villains that are seen in this, and
Yeah.
kind of go from there.
So this is basically the Wilson family,
Yeah,
and I don't think they've ever really been referred to that way, but it's only because of the fact that they're such a dysfunctional family. Right over at your very left, it's Rose Wilson, and she's played by Chelsea Zhang. There's Jericho in the middle, which is her brother Chellaman, played by Chellaman, and also Deathstroke, Slade Wilson, played by Isai Morales. And he went through a transition there because I don't usually see him that angry and that vindictive and with facial hair, but there you go. He makes a really good Deathstroke, I think. But the whole Titans superhero gang, they're even in the comics. You know, I think you still have that comic with Deathstroke on the to the right side of the first issue of Titans. But
Yeah, yeah,
Deathstroke was made for the Titans. He's their main villain. So that's kind of their Lex Luthor,
yeah.
to say.
He's right there on the right there. That was his first appearance,
Yeah.
and I know like he was. I mean, it's funny because a lot of people don't realize this, but actually Deadpool was kind of designed based on Deathstroke, right? Like
Hmm.
it's kind of like Marvel's parody joke of of Deathstroke. So I mean,
Yeah.
Deathstroke has a little bit more history, a little bit more weight. I feel
Oh
than
yeah.
yet, and definitely like, that family aspect is a huge aspect to what they do
Mhm.
in DC.
So
Um,
the Wilson family is pretty much like the big bad for the Titans,
yeah,
and the only thing though is that Rose Wilson, when they find her in season two, um, it's kind of one of those things where like we're gonna help this girl, we don't know who she is. They do take her in, they do take care of her. She was even in the Titans Tower, if we're gonna call
yeah,
their headquarters Titans Tower this time around, and eventually they do find out that she's actually like Slade's daughter, and it was like, well, this is
yeah.
awkward. You're in her
Yeah, and it's funny
headquarters.
because they do that even in Teen Titans Go, which is hilarious. Like
Oh,
if you
right.
were to compare, they it's just it's funny to see it in all these different kind of facets and different versions of what they're doing. So I mean,
Yeah.
I always found that was a unique little aspect, and there's still like there's a lot of animosity, but there's also a lot of love for these characters. So you're kind of like
Mhm.
it's interesting to watch that, right? Like to see how the characters are interacting, and actually like I mean, how do you like? How close are these characters from like the comic origins, like to you? I mean, do you find that they're really similar, or they
Yeah,
quite
I
different?
mean, they're grittier, in Titans, I would say, the whole storyline between Jericho and his father, Slade, and the separate relationship with Rose and Slade as well. There's similarities there, and there's always been really, really hard tension. Rose in even the Deceased comic that we've talked about previously had a very love and hate relationship with Slade.
Yeah,
That transcends all throughout lots of different storylines. And honestly, season two, she stabs him. So
yeah.
I
No,
mean,
that's
talking about tension, she was never going to be in the Wilson side of the story. She was always going to be with the Titans, and she's I honestly think she's in love with Jason.
yeah. And so I mean, one thing I guess with regards to like the Wilson family, but also with regards to like Deathstroke, is
Mhm.
he considered the big bad like main villain for the Titans show? I mean, like what can you see happening for them
Yeah.
in season three? Like, is there something? Is this carry through? I don't know the ending, but you know what?
No,
Reveal
no.
it.
It really is. He is the big bad. There were some little bads, if we're gonna call him that, but Dr. Light was in it for a little bit. Um, I mean, Deathstroke really from the comics all the way to the show, it really is him. There was a little bit, which is crazy because we're talking about like an underworld superpower like Trigon, which is Raven's dad, and that's kind of how season two starts. Is
Yeah,
her battle with getting him to enter the world and creating all this havoc. But even someone as big as that, there it wasn't as big of a villain as Deathstroke continually. So it was
oh,
still
for sure.
Deathstroke at the end of the day.
No, for sure, for sure. And I mean,
Mhm.
how, I mean, how do you see this? I guess connecting to some of the other shows, like especially with like, let's say, I know you mentioned this already that that there is a connection to the Arrowverse, universe. I know that there's some other connections as well. Correct? Like, are there? It goes beyond that.
We're gonna find out really because there's also this thing happening in Warner Brothers right now with the huge layoffs and all that kind of stuff going on. I don't know how it's gonna transcend, but so for example, Doom Patrol, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Doom Patrol season two has come out already. I
Does it
haven't
does it
watched.
connect to Crisis though? Like, is there a
Oh,
connection there?
yeah, Crisis on Infinite Earths was one of my favorite novels, and I read it when I was younger, and then I had to reread it again when I was an adult a few times because I'm like, "What is going on?" Like,
Yeah.
it was just a lot, and then they did and honestly, it just became one of my favorite graphic novels ever
Yeah.
once I finally understood it, and, they did a really great but cheesy Crisis on Infinite Earths in the Arrowverse. But honestly, I love the cheese factor in it.
Oh
Um,
yeah, why not?
yeah, and it pretty much brought all the CW shows together. And there was a little bit of a scene where you do see Doom Patrol and the Titans crew,
Nice,
and
nice.
they're part of that world now.
So
I voted
there is
for
a
it
connection
88.
to the whole to the rest of the DC universe in many ways,
Yeah.
and it's funny because they even had like I know they brought back Brendan Routh as Superman.
Oh
They've had
yeah, the
different
Kingdom Come
Supermans.
kind of Superman, and that was the second time that he's donned that outfit. Honestly, the DC world, like the DC TV world,
Well, he's supposed
is
to be the Kingdom Come
Kingdom Come
Superman, right?
Superman.
Yes,
Um, and
that's
then
interesting. Yeah,
the other thing about it too is that it's not only connecting the TV world, but it's also connected
the
even the
cinematic world.
movie world,
Yeah.
because the Flash
Flashpoint.
Justice League,
Yeah,
there was like a beautiful scene with the two Flashes, the TV Flash and the movie
yeah.
Flash. You
And
know,
I from what I hear now with this new Flashpoint movie that's coming out, they want to bring back the Michael Keaton Batman with the Ben Affleck
hmm
Batman. So it seems like there will be a connection even further on into the cinematic world. So I mean, I like that. I like that aspect of it. I mean, I just feel like there were certain actors I didn't want to see as Superman or Batman, but you
hmm
know, it is what it is. It's part of the cinematic world. I mean, of the films, the shows, everything. So I mean, that's pretty
yeah.
awesome overall.
How
And
did you feel about Kevin Conroy in the Kingdom Come scenes in Crisis on the Infinite Earths?
you know what? I love Kevin Conroy. I think he's awesome. I mean,
Mhm,
he's not a an in person kind of actor. He's more of a voice actor to
mhm.
me, but he's still Batman in his own way. And it's same with
Yeah,
like Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill. I mean, and the funny thing is, Mark Hamill played also in the Flash, right?
yeah. He
But
was
he's
the
also
trickster. Yeah,
sorry.
he was the trickster.
Yeah, you know, he was a trickster and he was also Joker, right? So it's like
Yeah, yeah.
there's so much depth into these characters, into these actors, and the fact that they did this, it feels like it's definitely like uh they're kind of they're poking fun at themselves, and there's definitely there's
As
a
they should.
funness to it.
Yeah,
Sorry?
as they should. You know,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
honestly, there's no pleasing everybody. So why not just do the thing that you think is gonna kind of erupt, some people's dreams, and kind of have it come true just even for a little bit. Like there was a part there where Burt Ward he even said like "Holy Batman" or whatever he said on like one of the first
Yeah.
shows. So why not, right?
No, for sure. And you know what? It's they're great shows. They're great everything. They're great films. Everything they're doing is awesome.
Yeah.
I do also want to get into like a bit of like another aspect of Titans, which
hmm
is Batman. Batman shows up in season two, but
hmm
he's also technically in season one, right? He's at the end of
Yeah.
season one in a kind of a dreamish kind of thing, so, which was nice to see. Our own Andrew Speranza, who's been on our show, who you and I both know,
Yeah.
worked on the costume there for him. So I mean, that was pretty badass. And
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of people that in Toronto. I mean, these shows are shot in Toronto, by the way, guys. So
And Mississauga as well.
yeah, Mississauga as well. There you go.
Yeah.
But the greater Toronto area, the GTA.
hmm
This is a Netflix big international show that was shot here in Canada, which is amazing. And
Yeah.
people don't realize how many big comic book movies are shot in Canada. The first two
All of
X
them.
Men, the first two X-Men movie were done here in Toronto.
hmm
I believe Max Payne, which is a video game thing.
hmm
Um, Scott Pilgrim. There's so many like comic book movies that are done here in
And
Canada,
TV
which is
shows.
yeah, TV shows, movies, everything. And if you just realize, I know RoboCop back in the day, there was a TV show of
Oh,
RoboCop
really?
here in Toronto. So there's so much like comic book fantasy influence just here in Canada. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So sorry, back to the Batman question, but like, how did you like, Lane Glenn's performance? Did you enjoy it? Him as Bruce Wayne? Did you enjoy the Batman aspect of Titans
Yeah,
overall?
he was a little bit of he played the coy Bruce Wayne,
Yeah,
season 2 you really got to see him kind of mansplain even to the girls of the Titans crew. You guys should probably get together because you're gonna have to rescue the kid. But I like how him and Dick Grayson had their scenes even in the prison. It was kind of like he was, even though he tried to get away from Bruce, his conscience was actually still Bruce Wayne.
Oh, for
all
sure.
all the decisions that he was trying to make and all the things that he was conflicted with within himself. It's not like it was just him thinking about it. It wasn't him learning how to be a leader by himself because his conscience was still very, very much Bruce Wayne, and he
To
even
me, to
yeah.
me, it felt a little like a kind of a James Bondish, like you said,
Hmm.
white version of Batman and Bruce Wayne. But he also like, I guess maybe it's because he looks a little bit like Roger Moore from back in the day, from
He
like the
does.
old,
Yeah.
the old James Bond, spy films.
Hmm.
He to me that he brought that kind of persona to the table,
Yeah.
which is very different from his persona on Game of Thrones. Yet in some ways similar as well. So I mean, I don't think he's necessarily like a method actor. I think he's just a good performer, and he can take on a
Mhm.
character from understanding, the aspect of their situation. He's more of a situational character without a doubt. So I
Yeah.
mean, I personally enjoyed the performance. Not my typical Batman. I'm definitely interested to see this new Robert Pattinson film. I think
Mhm.
that's going to be a new and unique, kind of a young, fresh look of what Batman is.
Mhm.
But that being said, like, what do you see happening in season 3? I mean, do you see anything new happening, even following seasons to 3?
Well, so one, I did want to comment about that Batman thing, and as much as I liked him as Bruce Wayne, for some reason I couldn't really see him as the Batman.
That's fair.
Right?
That's fair.
So to me it's kind of like it was good that they brought him in season 2 as, Robin's conscience and kind of like still a little bit of a sideline leader to the team. Because they had that dinner, he went and got them to go to the diner, the girls, and all that stuff. But it would be really interesting, even in season 3, to try him out as actual cutscenes of Batman, like
Yeah.
flashbacks of this is what we used to do, me and the boy wonder kind of thing. But I'm really looking forward to finally seeing the story of Starfire because Starfire is really running away from her royal duties. She's supposed to go back into
Oh,
her
for sure.
planet, and
And I
assuming
wonder if they're going to get more into that, because I know from what I saw in season 2 with like, them kind of chasing her down and all that. That's pretty like
Mhm,
unique already. It's pretty accurate also to the to to
to the
the comics,
comics.
to the
Yeah.
shows, all that. So I mean, they're definitely doing that right. I just wonder. I'm like, I don't know, because I didn't watch all of season 2, but and I mean, maybe you can just reveal. But do they go into her world, into her planet at all,
They
or?
don't really go into her planet, but that is the most interesting thing, I think, like, because I think she's starting to really like Earth, and I think
Yeah,
she's found a home with the Titans team.
a family, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
other. So.
So I need to see if she's actually going to stay with the team or if they're even going to go into her planet and get to kind of solve stuff there as well. Because
I'm wondering.
yeah.
I'm wondering if they're going to also bring Cyborg into this eventually in season 3, like, because he's
Hmm.
on Doom Patrol, right? Like,
He
so
is,
I
yeah.
mean, are they going to bring him into? Have they brought him at all into this so far?
No,
No,
they
right?
haven't at
So
all. But that would be
yeah,
really, really cool. And it would be amazing if they did bring him in and he had a really best friendly bro-ish relationship with Robin and Beast Boy,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because they
Well,
were
that's the thing. It'd be like Teen Titans again, right? Like,
and I'd love to have a scene with them like eating waffles. You remember the waffle
oh
scene?
yeah, for
There
sure. Just
you go.
no, you just have to have like some slapstick moments here and there, and
Yeah.
it's awesome. Like, and they kind of do that in this show. I mean, there's a lot of humor between like Hawk and Dove as well. Like, there's a lot of, as
Yeah.
much as there's a deepness to their story. It's a love story, yet there's a lot of like joking around between characters, and it is, yes, there's innuendo and this and that, but there's a lot of, it's absolutely a fun show. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest, of like the Arrowverse,
Hmm.
Supergirl, or the
Hmm.
Flash. So don't kill me, anyone. But I'm not a big fan of those shows personally. But when I watched Titans, I was like, wow, this is a good DC show.
Yeah.
And so, there are definitely some others I won't mention right now that I feel are great shows that DC and the CW have
Mhm.
worked on. But for anyone out there on a personal note, on a recommendation level, I think it's absolutely an amazing series.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely watch season 1, season 2. They're on Netflix right now. Can they be found anywhere else, Joey?
No, officially they are in Netflix, but honestly, if you're not a DC fan or you're not a superhero fan, this isn't too much. It doesn't really feel too superhero-y,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of drama and there's a lot of conflicts that it doesn't really have to feel like a superhero meta-human kind of world.
And actually, I do have to say there's one aspect to the show that I loved in season 2 was
Mhm.
Trigon. Trigon
Yeah,
was well done because to me I thought, oh, are they going to make this silly looking like and
yeah,
they did that, but not in a silly way, in
yeah.
actually
I
a
was
really
impressed.
dark way, the same kind of way they introduced Raven. So
Mhm.
and they gave him more of a human form, which felt right.
Yes, yeah,
It felt like they placed him in a really unique situation.
yeah.
And I think the story of Raven, I mean, that's another, there's so many little stories
Mhm.
throughout Titans that really carry you as a viewer. It's never
Yeah.
a dull moment. You know what I mean? Like,
We haven't even scratched the surface of what's Connor supposed to be in this whole thing.
yeah.
And Superboy is such a huge aspect of Titans that
Oh, yeah.
you really got to know him in like just like 3 to 4 episodes, and it
Yeah.
wasn't full episodes all the time. So there's tons of things happening there. I need to know also what's happening with Hawk and Dove, because even in the very end, you don't really know if they're
No,
together.
they
Like,
leave a lot of loose ends, and it's nice
yeah.
because it makes you want to watch more and know more about what's happening. And
Hmm.
it's not directly from the books, but it's similar in its own kind of form, right?
And
So
you know what? It's fine, because here's the thing that I want people to take away from being a comic book fan, being a movie fan, and being a TV show fan. Um, let's stop kind of being so accurate about stuff.
yeah.
I think that there's a beauty within different mediums, that it works in a TV show, that it works as a movie, and it works as a comic book.
Well, I
You
mean, look
can't.
at like the Joker film, right? The Joker
Mhm.
film was a standalone film about Joker, and I love the fact that they changed certain aspect to Bruce Wayne being this child. Like, is he his brother? Is he not? Is there confusion there? They kind of play
Yeah.
on that, and those are
Why
the
not?
kinds of things that it's what makes good storytelling, right? It's what
Yeah.
makes it unique is that they're taking you out of your typical form of how you do things. Even if you watch the first Superman
Hmm.
film, like, I mean, we always knew Superman as this guy going into a telephone booth and doing his shirt thing, and they actually changed that. Like I think it was Richard Donner at the time who worked on that film.
Hmm.
He was the director of the film. He said, "No, we're going to change it up." And I think, from what I remember, instead of him going into the phone booth, he kind of looked at it as like, "No, I'm not gonna." He went into one of those little
Revolvers.
revolving doors, and then came out as Superman. You're like, "Oh, okay."
Exactly. But how
They
cool
toyed
is
with you,
that, man?
right? Like,
Like, when I was a kid, I was just like, yes, I mean, I didn't read then, but like,
that's pretty
just
cool. It's
just
like
do it. Just do what feels right. Like, and you know what? I'm done with like canon stuff. Like, why does everything have to be canon?
yeah.
Like, this Titans show has, there's parts of it that's not very comic book. There's parts of the Teen Titans Go that has nothing to do with Titans. So like, sometimes it
Yeah,
works, sometimes
it's
it
you know
doesn't.
what? It's for people that like the Star Wars fans. I love those guys too. Those guys are very much about everything being canon, and
Absolutely.
I think it's the type of audience, right? Like, comic book people are not. I feel like comic book people are typically not of caring so much about it being canon or not. I
Mhm.
think it definitely is more specific type of audience. Like, if you're Star Trek, or if you're Star Wars, or if you're a specific series that's constantly gone a certain way,
Yeah.
yeah, you might need to go canon for that series. But in other things like comic books, almost every major DC or Marvel, for example, was always open for interpretation,
Do you
always
know
open
why
for that
that
kind of.
is? You're on, like, you know how you said like Star Wars versus like comic book fans? Here's what I think it is. You're a comic book reader, I'm a comic book reader. And
Yeah.
guess what? Things change in Rebirth. Things change in New 52. things change all the time. You know what
Oh
I
yeah,
mean?
so you're
We're
kind of like
used to
used to it.
that.
It's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Just throw it out, and let's rewrite the book, right? Like
Yeah. With
I
us,
think also.
our
Sorry,
sorry,
go ahead.
our heroes die all the time. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? When they die, we don't take it to heart, really.
no, it's like it's
Not
part of
not
the life,
the
part of
point.
the life of the story, right? So
Yeah, they're gonna come back
I
again.
get that, and you know what? I think the one thing I kind of want to leave people off with is that when you're reading comics um, versus watching movies, is that you're constantly um, you're constantly looking for that next change, right? You're always looking for what's going to happen next. But I think a lot of comic book readers have a mind of a writer, right? So,
Yeah.
and writers tend to want to change things. So, I mean, it's very easy to go from reading comics to writing comics because you kind of understand the formula, the formality of it all, and just
Mhm.
how to fix it and tweak it and change things. So, yeah, I mean, thanks for everything today, Joey. Is there anything
Or,
else you wanted to kind of mention or
hey
go
guys,
off of?
read comics. I know
Yeah,
that I'm in movie
you
minutes right
watch movies
now.
too because this
Yeah, I
is a show about
know.
movie minutes. So definitely watch movies.
But like I'm just saying, just because like I'm guest starring on it and I'm from Comics Vault and all that kind of stuff, when you watch Titans and you happen to be interested in a particular character, there's going to be a graphic novel about every single one of them. There's
For
more
sure.
mediums. Enjoy it for what it is. Don't concentrate too much on what's canon again, and just honestly just ensure that you're enjoying it, you know?
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Joey, thanks for coming on board today. Sorry, guys, that Philip wasn't able to do this episode today, so we both covered for him. So you will see him shortly. He'll be back from vacation, and we're gonna get him back on track with everything movie minutes. But definitely, guys, check out also our new show, which has been up and running for a few weeks now
Mhm.
on Amazon Prime Video. The Heroes Manufacture Creators Unleashed. Philip is in that. Joey helped us out definitely at Gotham Central for those scenes. So
For
there's a
sweeping
whole. Sorry.
for sweeping the store and
Yeah.
fixing
No.
things, sure.
Well, hey, you were our assistant then. We were just getting to know each other,
Exactly. Exactly.
and now we're gonna assist you. So it's all good.
Very nice.
But thanks, guys, and you guys have a great one, and stay safe out there. And thanks for watching today.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.